Here we are in Akron, Ohio. This is the Sandler sales training facility here in this part of the country. We have a classroom here with about 30 seats, and what we've done is there are Audio-Technica Dante ceiling microphones placed one microphone per two seats in this room. And because of the recent COVID pandemic, we have X's on the tables to mark social distancing. So in this application, the miking is appropriate for this. Dan?
And I'm wearing an AT899 omnidirectional microphone that's going into a System 10 Pro body pack transmitter. And that System 10 Pro receiver is connected to a Symmetrix Radius.
And joining us on the far end is Mark via Zoom, our soft codec.
Yeah, so I'm connected on the other end. I'm actually on the other side of Akron at my house. I've got a Audio-Technica engineered sound gooseneck microphone that's going into our digital mixer, our ATDM0604. This digital mixer handles all of the echo canceling and USB connection for the soft codec. So that's kind of the round trip on this end. On my end, I've got a simple USB connection going into a soft codec. On the Sandler end, where Dan and Gary are, we've got Dante solutions and wireless mics going into a dedicated DSP.
And unplanned, the HVAC in this room actually did kick in. So you may hear that from time to time, but just want to give you a real world perspective of what Dante ceiling microphones sound like in this scenario.
And we might find out what my dog barking sounds like as well, but hopefully not. So Gary, one of the things I'd like to touch on is looking at this video from this point. I can see, of course, Dan has his lavalier microphone. Dan, where is that element located?
That element is located right here where the polo shirt buttons up.
All right, so that's a really good location for somebody wearing a lavalier mic. So when you're choosing that, that's a good spot. But also looking from my end, I can see these hanging Dante mics throughout the ceiling, and you can see several of them. So Gary, can you talk to a little bit to how they are, one, how they are routed with Dante, and second, is there gating involved? Is there auto mixing?
Yeah, in this particular setup, we're using a gated auto mixer with this, where each microphone is attenuated about 30 dB when it's gated off. So that allows us to keep a little bit of natural sound in the room, and also you're not missing that first syllable sometimes, depending on how loud the speaker is. But the other nice thing is the microphones have an active LED on them. And so we've set it, I think, to 2 open microphones in this room out of 15. And anytime it locks in on a particular microphone and gates it open, that LED illuminates green. So if Dan is in his position at the front of the room, he can do a quick sort of visual check and see that the person under him is speaking and the microphone above him is illuminated green.
So Gary, it's also not unusual when you're talking about a classroom situation, even if you're talking about social distancing situation, where a student sitting in the chair like you are now might actually turn around and address another student in the class where there's maybe some discourse going on back and forth. How is the system going to handle something like that?
Yeah, so if I go ahead and turn around and I address the main camera to the back of the room, I could address the people at the rear of the table. Again, having that gated auto mixer where it doesn't gain the mics all the way off, and leaving a couple open microphones allows the system to find an active microphone to where the person is speaking. So hopefully our change in volume is not too significant, in sort of this non-traditional classroom discussion we're doing right now. All right, so we're now here where Dan has left the presentation area and moved to a seat in the back of the room. Dan?
And I have turned off my lavalier microphone in favor of the Dante microphone above me. I am about 8 feet away from Gary, and this is what it sounds like from this position.
So in a social distancing classroom application, we've got plenty of seats spaced between Dan and I've now turned and facing Dan to have more of a discussion.
That really sounds good, because that's obviously, even though we're in a social distancing situation, we still want to have interactivity between people in a classroom, between students, between instructors, and choosing microphones, especially choosing the microline elements as we have and placing them like we have, really allows for that smooth transition and maintaining the intelligibility.